Hello everyone and welcome back to Woke Witch Tarot for another reading. I was going to say pick a card reading out of habit, but this is not what this is. For those of you that are unfamiliar, I did a video a little while back before my hiatus about a shift that I felt coming for a large majority of the collective, in which people came into contact with their twin flame, with their true love. I feel this energy for a lot of people in the collective, that within the next year that you will find your person. And one of the things that I wanted to explore was for those that had that kind of go get 'em attitude, that understand that even if the universe were to land somebody in your lap right now, that doesn't mean that we don't have work to do, that we don't have room to ascend, and that there aren't things that we should be working on while we wait for this partner and they wait for us. I decided to create this series called The Shift, and it would basically serve as a guide for those that are past the wishing stage, right? And are moving into the action stage. What can I do in order to aid this along? This series is for you. This is part 2 of this series. If you've missed part 1, I will link it somewhere up above here, and you can watch that there and then come back here. One of the things that we had discovered in this reading is that the first step that the universe wanted us to take is to embody this 9 of Pentacles energy, and the way in which we were to do this as a first step towards this shift was to initiate death in our lives, right? A metaphorical death, in order to change, to transform, to let go of all of the things that were shackling us to old energies. The Devil card was something that showed its face as well in the previous reading. So we're going to dive into what that means for us in a practical sense, and what it is that we are to let go of, that the universe wants us to transform, what it is that we are needing to separate ourselves from and to let die in our lives. Now, as I mentioned, 9 of Pentacles is where we're headed, okay? And I can't disagree. Who wouldn't want to be with somebody that embodies the 9 of Pentacles energy, right? And there's so much about self-love here as well. So I love that this was the first card that we're being kind of guided to move towards. I'm going to clarify, right, what it is that the universe wants in regards to this death in order to reach this 9 of Pentacles energy. But first, I want to get a sense of where we're headed next. So in other words, once we work on whatever this death needs to be, what is it that the next video is going to focus on? What work do we have to do next? I'd like one card, please. After we work on the death card in our shift for love, what will the collective be working on next, please? What is the next step for the collective, please, in the shift towards love? I see the Page of Swords energy quite strongly in my head, the 8 of Cups, the Devil card showing up as well. Again, interesting. For the collective, please. What is the next step after death in our shift towards love? What is the next step? The Page of Pentacles, very, very nice. So we will, in the next video, work on this Page of Pentacles energy, the Queen of Pentacles showing its face at the bottom of the deck. But for now, let's go ahead and dive in to what the universe means when it says it wants us to embody this 9 of Pentacles energy, and what exactly it is that needs to die in order for us to achieve it. 3 cards, please, for the collective. 3 cards, please, on what it is that needs to die in order to embody this 9 of Pentacles energy, please. 3 cards, please. Clarify death in our quest for this Nine of Pentacles energy, please, for the collective. Clarify death, please. 3 cards. The King of Pentacles. Clarify death, please. 2 more cards. Oh boy. The Magician here. The 4 of Swords and the 4 of Pentacles showing its face. 1 more card, please. And there's that Devil card. Okay. 7 of Swords at the bottom of the deck. I get a lot of energy here about self-sabotage, okay? I also get the lies that we tell ourselves that keep us stuck, that keep us in the past. You certainly could be an air sign, you could be a Capricorn, or overall you could have a lot of earth energy in your chart because we've had a lot of pentacles show up here in this particular spread. 7 of Swords, right? What lies are we telling that keep us stuck? I see this very much as not just what lies we tell ourselves, but what lies we are amenable to believing. It's so funny to me how we can hear that we are good, we can hear that we are beautiful, and all it takes, right, is one comment, one feeling of insecurity to completely derail 20 compliments. Okay, we always focus on these negative things about ourselves, and this is basically saying that we have to focus on the good in us. Okay, now I think one of the reasons, right, one of the reasons that you might be in this 7 of Swords energy is because we often feel like if I had this one thing, my life would be different, okay? If I lost the weight, then somebody would approach me. If I could make my makeup look like an Instagram filter, right? Then people would think that I'm attractive, and that would be the key to bringing a lover into my life. If I had a lover in my life, then my entire life would be different and everything would be swell. This basically is saying that one of the lies that I feel that we are telling ourselves is that when we come together with a lover, that is when our life begins. And this is a lie. This is something that is actually taking us away and further from the path of coming into union with the person that we were meant to have this beautiful celebration of love with, okay? Notice here that we have the 9 of Wands. There's a sense here that you're more willing to fight, right? And again, I say this with no judgment. You're more willing to fight for the idea of a lover than to fight for the version of yourself that you know is incredibly lovable. And I'm gonna share with you how I see that coming into fruition based off of the cards that we have here in the spread, okay? The reason that I mention this is because it feels like you're delaying your own growth because you feel like a lover is a key component to unlocking some place that you've been stuck. And actually the opposite is true. In order to heal, in order to work on ourselves here, in order to get our own wish fulfillment, the work starts in the mirror. The work starts when we look at ourselves here, okay? We've got work to do in how we see our own image. Now, I think a part of that is twofold. I feel like I'm going to get some pushback on the second one, but I'm going to say it how I'm getting it, okay? Now, the first thing that I'm getting here is a refusal to start our life because we don't have this lover. And the idea that there's a knight or a princess in shining armor that is going to be the foundation that changes our life. I'm getting this quite strongly, and I don't want to jar you, but it's something to think about, okay? I want you to sit with the idea that no one is coming to save you. I know that that's a strong way of putting it, right? But I want you to really, really think about this. No one is coming to save you from your own life. And if you are expecting a lover to do that for you, to save you from your own life to take up the mantle, right? Of fighting your life for you and somehow making your dreams come true for you and somehow changing your entire life around for you, then you're going to be in a little bit of trouble. That's too much of a burden for anyone to bear. And we are sabotaging ourselves in this way. If we say, once I have this lover, then my life will be great, we're pushing those pressures onto somebody that doesn't physically exist in our lives yet. They exist in the world, but they're not with us yet, okay? And we're already putting pressures on a person that are unfair. And there's resistance to this, okay? I think some of you might feel like, you can feel that there's somebody coming quick, that there's somebody in your vicinity, like you finally have traveled to the same state. When we think about this in the terms of the metaphysical, right? And you're so close, but there's a buffer, and you can't define what that buffer is. You feel an energy of resistance, like magnets that have been flipped on their sides and are pushing against each other instead of connecting. And I think a part of that resistance is a sense that there's more that you're expecting from this person than love. You're expecting them perhaps to be a band-aid for your overall life. That once this one thing gets unlocked in your life, that everything else will somehow be magical. And the universe is saying you have to fight for your own life. It is not your future partner's job to do that for you. In fact, the more energetic pressure that you put on what it is that you expect from this person, whether conscious or subconscious, the more resistance that you build, because they can feel that energy, right? I'm not expected to just love this person. I'm expected to fix their life. And that's a big burden to bear, okay? What I mean by fixing your life, okay? If you're not happy in your life now, I want you to ask the question of if a lover would change that quite drastically for you. Would somebody that you're in a relationship with make your life change night and day? Now, that's not to say that you wouldn't feel loved. That's not to say that they wouldn't make the days easier, especially hard days when you have somebody to talk to and to get your frustrations out with, right? To have to listen to you and to support you. That doesn't mean that they wouldn't make your life easier in this sense, but would they fix your life? Right? If you're disconnected from your purpose, if you're disconnected from your path, if you feel lost, if you don't know what direction you should be going towards, right? If you are in a place where you're not happy with your body, if you're in a place where you're not happy with your health, if you're in a place where you're not happy with your wealth, how is your partner going to fix that? And would you want that version of yourself to be the first version of you that your partner sees? Not, I don't mean that from the perspective of you being unworthy, right? But those insecurities, would they not funnel into your relationship and affect them in a negative way? This is kind of the energy that I'm feeling is a bit of a resistance here, okay? Now, we have the King of Pentacles, the Magician, and the Devil card here. I think for some of you, okay, working on your finances and your own financial independence is quite important here. There could be an area in your life where you are fixated on the fact that this person is going to come in and give you the funds to be this Nine of Pentacles. Now, I don't mean that you're a gold digger, okay? That's not what I'm talking about. What I mean is you want somebody to take care of you, and the universe is saying, wait, shouldn't you be the first person to take care of yourself? Again, you're putting pressure on somebody that has yet to even enter your life, okay? For some of you, you feel disconnected with your finances. You feel disconnected with your careers. And there's a sense that when this lover comes, some of you feel like you might not even need to worry about this anymore, right? This idea of being taken care of. But others of you are expecting them to pull a heavier load, whereas your partner might be looking for a contributor in collaboration versus them being the only ones that has to do the work. The King of Pentacles is very much that kind of like boss energy, right? Somebody that is in charge of their own home, of their own business, of their own finances, right? A charitable king, but one that is very self-sufficient. And with the Nine of Pentacles, this is saying we need to be self-sufficient. If I were to read this verbatim, how it is that my guides are giving this to me, this idea of the Nine of Pentacles, of your own independence, your own financial independence that isn't dependent on another person, your own independence as far as your self-confidence that isn't dependent on whether you have a lover or not, right? This Nine of Pentacles energy basically reads here as get your own house in order. Get your own house in order. And stop expecting that this King of Pentacles is going to magically, right, unshackle you from the other aspects of your life that you know that you need to grow, that you know that you need to work on. Some of you too, I feel that in order to have the greatest sense of freedom in your relationships, okay, you have to make your own money. You have to get your money in order. I don't want this to be misunderstood, okay? This spread isn't saying that you have to be rich in order to attract somebody. This is saying that you have to be confident enough that when the wrong people come along, that you don't need anything from them and you can easily walk away from situations that do not fulfill you, from situations where you know this isn't the person for me, okay? I heard this quote once from a woman that her name is Kelly, I think it's Katrine. She wrote a book. I'll link it down below once I remember the name of it, okay? It's really a great book, and there's a lot of really good life advice in this book on how to be a woman, how to be a powerful woman, how to be this Nine of Pentacles. If you're a man or a woman, I feel like you will resonate with this, okay? There's a sense, there's a quote in that book where she says, after having to be in so many abusive relationships or relationships where I wasn't getting enough, but I had to stay because I was somehow financially tied to these people, or I couldn't make my own choices on where to live, on what to wear, on what, right? Because I was somehow tied because of my finances to other people, okay? Once I started making my own money, I realized that I could finally start to fuck whoever I want. And that became a bit of a motto for her, right? I always want to make my own money so that way I could sleep with whoever I want. Your connection to somebody isn't swayed or biased by your financial situation. Now, I know that some people are going to push back on this, okay? It's just the first portion of the spread. But we're going to touch on other subjects, but this is the thing that is the most prominent here, okay? Everyone thinks that money doesn't matter until it does, right? And for women in particular, this is quite important. There are countless women whose stories you can find even here on YouTube, right? That marry somebody, that are decide to date somebody, that intermingle their life with somebody that is bad for them, that is abusive to them. People that see, wait, you have gaps in your life that I can exploit, okay? And once I have you, it'll be harder for you to leave because you're dependent on me to pay your rent, because you're dependent on me to put food on the table, right? And this is saying that the first step is to really look into how independent we are in regards to our own finances. In other words, if somebody if you got into a relationship with somebody that was incompatible to you, would your perspective of I can take care of myself, I don't need anybody, would that change whether you are attracted to that person or not? I feel like this will resonate the most with those of you that have had people approach them, right? Or that have perhaps had people reach out to them on dating sites or through social media or something, right? And as this person starts to give you more and more about who they are, you see red flags, and then you try to find a reason. You try to find a reason to almost be amenable. Be amenable to somebody that you know, oof, we're going to clash on that. Oof, we're not compatible when it comes to this, okay? And if you felt wholly confident in your financial status and in your self-esteem, in how it is that you view your body, would you entertain them? I get like love yourself, right? I get self-respect here. And in a sense that when you have that, you don't get easily distracted by people that you know are not the magic that you are looking for, okay? You don't shackle yourself to people that you know this isn't going to work with, and you certainly wouldn't shackle yourself to somebody based off of finances and finances alone. This is saying that the business side of your life, the practical side of your life, we need to take a look at that. We need to perhaps start a savings account, right? We need to perhaps get our credit score up. We need to work on our financial independence. The reason that I feel that this is important is for two reasons. First, to get us to stop entertaining people that have this energy, right? That see a lack when it comes to our finances or our self-esteem, our self-confidence, that want to exploit that and give us the bare minimum and give us scraps instead of giving us the full love that we are capable of, because they know I can get this person to latch on to me. I can exploit these things that might be weaknesses or vulnerabilities that the collective sees in themselves, okay? But I also see it from the perspective of a lot of you are meant to engage with this King of Pentacles type energy. You're meant to be in love with somebody that is like this. And when we expect a King of Pentacles in our life, somebody that is magical, that is a CEO, that is a, right? That has that kind of stability and maturity, that has moved past being shackled to step one in their life. Once we do that, I just want to pull this up, okay? Once we understand that we're meant to be with this type of energy, we realize that we have to kind of step up for that, right? I get a lot of comments, okay, on some of the videos that I do, and I'm only referencing this because half jokingly, right, and half because it gives me the same energy. Some of the comments will say something like, if I say, oh wow, your future spouse is going to be handsome, or your future spouse is going to be beautiful. Some of the comments will say something like, well, I'm a potato, so what would this person want with me, right? I'm lazy. How am I, my future spouse isn't going to like me. This is saying, instead of thinking to yourself, well, this person isn't going to like me, we're not going to be compatible because I'm so different, to rise to the challenge of who you know you're destined to be with. You can't expect this person to come into your life and to fix you. No one is coming to save you. You have to save yourself. So yes, a King of Pentacles would be the most attracted to a Nine of Pentacles. Again, that doesn't have to do with how much money is in your bank account, okay? That has to do with the confidence, with the independence of knowing your own worth. And the way that you can know that is by actually taking the risk of getting out in the world and making your own dreams come true before you expect a lover to do that for you. Be your own star. Be your own wish fulfillment. And then let a lover, once you have fought the fight for yourself, then we can come into union with a person that has fought a similar battle, that has gone through a similar war, because this person has done that. That's when we can unlock this wish. When we have stood strong as warriors for our own dreams, our own goals, instead of expecting somebody to fix our lives for us, right? That's when this wish comes in. That's when healing comes in. That's where our twin comes in. That's when we start receiving this communication with the Eight of Cups, right? This is how we get this offer of love. I think it's pretty understood, right? That I'm not saying, I like to reiterate these things because people can sometimes get them confused, right? I'm not saying you have to be rich. I'm not saying that you have to have a certain amount of money in your bank account. What I'm saying is that you have to reach independence, whatever independence means for you. The kind of independence, I had a conversation with somebody recently that is a person in a position of power, is a person that I'm sure women swoon over, okay? Is a person that gets a lot of attention, okay? They have a prestigious business and they're in the public eye, and they made a weird assumption about me that I would be amenable to them just because of who they are. And if there isn't a better sign to kind of teach people about the world, I think Scorpios are quite good at this, right? He learned a valuable lesson, let's just put it that way, about what it is to make assumptions about how you can use your power and influence to bias somebody into dating you or entertaining you, or right? And I feel that energy here. The universe wants you to be in a place of strength so that when people like that come along, you can easily say, thank you, next. I don't need your money. I don't need your clout. I don't need your celebrity, right? It wants you to be able to raise your own middle finger to people that come to you with this particular energy. This is what needs to die. This idea that somebody else is going to bring the pentacles, bring the independence, bring the self-confidence. They're not. You have to do this for yourself. You have to take the first step into bringing this into fruition in your own life. So, as I said, for some of you, you have to get your house in order. I see that this is literal for some of you. Some of you maybe are backed up on some laundry, right? And you need to actually get your house in order. Getting your house in order clears the mind in this way, okay? Once you boost this confidence, right? Once you get rid of any attachment to a person where money would influence your choice about putting up with stuff, with personalities, with demands, with people that you know you don't really flow with, but it's like, well, look at all they have to offer, right? We need to unlock ourselves from that bias, and once we do that, we can kind of come back to square one, okay? Some of you, as I said, you need to start saving. You need to take a step out into the world on your own financially. If you're of age, right, and you know that you want to live on your own, but you're still living with your parents because you're afraid. You're afraid to go out into the world. You feel like, I'm too young, I'm too scared, I don't know how it is that I'm going to do it. For some of you, you're being pushed to be independent. You're being pushed to get your finances in order, to get your career on track. Because regardless of if this lover comes in for you or not, they're not going to all of a sudden fix your career trajectory for you, right? They're not going to give you a purpose. They're not going to give you these things. They're just, the only thing that they're responsible for is to give you their love. And any other expectation is a bit toxic, right? To put that kind of weight on somebody. We don't want to treat the people that we love like that, right? Clarify the Magician, please. Yeah, Queen of Pentacles. This is all about independence, all about self-confidence. I think for some of you, once you unlock true independence for yourselves, your confidence skyrockets, and you stop picking people that are kind of like, I don't want to say bums, right? But bums for you. Bums for you. Everybody has worth. Everybody has their own special someone. But these are not your people, okay? The Queen of Pentacles coming out here on the Page of Swords. This is how you, I think, not only heal yourself, but you attract magic into your life by working on becoming this Queen of Pentacles. So, in a practical sense, okay? If you know that credit score ain't good, we got to start working on that. You know, what I'm getting here too is this idea of like mirroring your person, right? They're doing work right now that I feel that you're not doing. They're working on stability. They're working on their finances. And I feel like you might be lacking in that area, right? And this is basically saying that would a King of Pentacles, even regardless of the amount of money in your bank account, being financially responsible at a minimum, this would be something that's important. And we have not grown into that space yet, perhaps, right? Do you owe people a lot of money? Do you have a bunch of collections on your credit report? Do you have negative money in your bank account, overdraft fees, right? Are you not taking care of those responsibilities? This is not to be looked at from the lens of what you have and don't have. Right? We're in the middle of a pandemic. I think we should kind of be easy on ourselves when it comes to finances, right? What it means is how responsible you are and if you keep your word or not. Even if you started off with a bad start, making a promise that from this point forward, right, I'm gonna work on this. I'm gonna work on my savings. I'm gonna work on my financial independence. I'm gonna work on my credit. Okay, I'm going to work on making wise financial decisions because these things affect my life. But more than that, they tell the world something about who I am. Okay, if you have 50 collections on your credit versus somebody that has paid their bills every year on time, barring extreme circumstances, right? Like this pandemic or living somewhere where poverty is quite high, okay? Don't punish yourself if you're in that situation. This won't apply to you. What does that say though, right? In a normal situation, somebody with 50 collections versus somebody that has paid their bills on time for 20 years, okay? A King of Pentacles type lover would look at that and would say, so this person that pays their bills keeps their promises. This person does not. This person respects themselves enough to not let their word, their reputation, be affected by not keeping their word, by not keeping their obligations. This person doesn't do that. And why would you want to intermingle a life? Especially if they are this King of Pentacles. They're clearly somebody that has a lot to lose if they engage in a relationship with somebody that doesn't value that stability. So this is saying we got to work on that, okay? The magic here is twofold. It's confidence and it's finances. We have to take the first step to become the Queen of Pentacles, the counterpart to what this is. So if your dream list of a lover is somebody that can sustain a household, right? Somebody that can go to work while you take care of the kids, or somebody, they're going to want at a minimum the energy of somebody that respects that. The energy of somebody that knows what it means to work hard. That's the type of person that's going to truly appreciate them. So this is saying we have to be the queen to this king. That Two of Wands, we have to actually mirror the same energy. At a minimum, right? We have to mirror the work ethic and the self-respect. For a lot of you too, one of the things that needs to die is being on the internet, okay? I recognize the hypocrisy of you watching me on YouTube, right? And me saying get off the internet, okay? But with this Page of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles, I think that some of you have a very unrealistic expectation of what you're supposed to look like and what your life is supposed to be. And I feel like some of you are chasing things that first will wholeheartedly reject you, I'm getting. because the universe knows they're not right for you. This is what I'm seeing here is material goods. What I'm seeing here is lifestyles that look picture perfect, that look Photoshop, that aren't real. And the universe is saying, this isn't real. Do not anchor your worth. Do not anchor where it is that you feel you need to spend your money on based off of this energy, okay? This is kind of a random example, but this morning, right, I hear about Khloe Kardashian and how she's upset about a photo that was released of her not photoshopped, not looking her best, and how like bullying and these unrealistic beauty standards have made her feel like she doesn't want this photo of herself out, okay? And I kind of feel this energy here. It's like, if you invest into creating a machine that makes this the standard of how you should look, right? It's very well, look at the consequences of my own actions energy when you get mad that people hold you to the standard that you've created. And that doesn't make it any less painful to have people say mean things to you, right? But what I feel this is saying is that you're looking at outer sources on what it means to be independent, what it means to be financially stable. See, you might be looking at people that have fancy bags, that drive fancy cars, that only eat raw, organic meals, right? They get the supreme pizza over at Whole Foods, right? They don't get the average person's pizza, right? They can afford to spend all this money. You see the spoils of this work while completely ignoring the work that they do. And so you might have a tendency to outspend your magic on things that you know you don't need. If you have every YouTuber's makeup palettes, do you really need all that stuff, right? I heard I saw a very interesting tweet in regards to this whole Khloe Kardashian situation that said, I empathize with Khloe Kardashian and the standards, right, that have been set. But I think for her, these aren't my words, they're somebody else's. I think for her, it might be best to get off the internet. Instead of asking the world to accommodate her living a lie, and asking young women to part with their money, with the self-hatred that she has helped them to feel about themselves, right? And I think this is telling you this, okay? Where in your life is your own insecurity, is your own, I hate to say self-hatred, but just for the purpose of the tweet, right? I'll say self-hatred. Where is that making you spend money on things that you know, this isn't going to change my life? The perfect mascara is not going to make me more confident, right? These clothes are not going to make me more confident. And even if they do, what good does that do me if I spent $5,000 on a wardrobe but can't pay my rent? You're being asked to remove yourself from looking at things, particularly online, that change your perspective of what it means to be rich, of what it means to be abundant. And to stop kind of giving your money to these companies, to these people, to these influencers that separate you from your own wealth based off of them making you feel like you're not enough. Making you feel like you need to change, making you feel like if you have this eyeliner, then all the boys will come to the yard. These people are not healthy for you. These people are selling something to you, and they want to make you feel like you're missing something. And this starts to chip away at your self-confidence. The entire beauty industry, right? Although products are nice, right? They can help us boost our confidence in healthy ways. The entire beauty industry, if you think about it, exists with this one principle, okay? Make you feel like you're less. Make you feel like if you don't have this thing, that you're not a Queen of Pentacles. The entire business is predicated off of the model that I have to make the collective, I have to make viewer 135 or whatever number viewer you are on this video feel less than. Then they'll give me their money. And then when I come out with the next product, right, I'll be able to continue this cycle. If you don't have this, you're not that. The entire tenet of that business is to make you feel unworthy so that you give them money to try to buy some worth. And this is saying you have that worth already. The more that you let people separate you, influencers separate you from your physical wealth, the farther you slide away from your self-confidence, away from being happy with just who you are, but also away from your own abundance, right? That $100 that you spent on a makeup palette, you could invest it into a CD or into a savings account or whatnot, right? Buy some stock or something. I don't know. I'm not a financial advisor, so don't listen to me. But I feel that here, okay? But also ideas of beauty, ideas of, aside from the finances, right? The confidence that comes from watching people online that have endless amounts of money I'm getting to sever themselves in order to look a certain way, to filter themselves in order to look a certain way, okay? This is ruining your magic. This is warping, I'm getting, your own, the way that you appreciate, or that you were meant to appreciate yourself in your natural state. Nobody can achieve the look that these people are achieving. They can't even do it. They can't even do it, right? Without the Photoshop, without the plastic surgery, without the $20,000 dress, right? Not even the influencers that you're watching on social media that might be perpetuating this negative stereotype for you, right? Not even they can keep up with it. And that's what causes people like Khloe Kardashian to try to get pictures removed of herself, natural pictures, right, off the internet. Because not even she can keep up with the standard that she has set in this overly filtered world, this picture perfect world that does not exist. So I think a lot of you are being asked to disconnect from the internet, right? What feeds are you following that are perpetuating these stereotypes? They're unhealthy for you. What feeds are you following? What items are you coveting that you feel, if I had this, then I would feel like the Queen of Pentacles? This is saying that you're letting these things rob you of magic that you already have. So we need to figure out what influencers and where it is that we're spending money to be like this. Or for some of you, even this idea, I'm getting plastic surgery here, like thinking that plastic surgery is going to fix you. And for some of you, sure, it might give you a little boost, right? But I think for others of you, this idea of like, if I cut something from my body or add to it or cut myself in some way, have a surgeon cut into me, that I'm going to feel like this. And that's not the case. You might look like that, but that doesn't mean you're going to feel like that when you look in the mirror or when you go about your day. So it's something to think about, right? You have to make a choice on what is right for you in every single one of these avenues. But it certainly is never bad to ask yourself the question. Very, very interesting. Clarify the devil, please. Clarify the devil. Yeah, clarify the devil, please. Okay, clarify the devil, please. One more card, please. That was the Ace of Wands, and one came out. Sorry about that. The Page of Pentacles again. This one came out here. This very much is the idea that I had mentioned before, right? Expecting somebody to come riding in, and that is going to all of a sudden change how it is that you view your own life, your own accomplishments, the path that you're on. This person isn't going to save you. You have to start working on your own life instead of expecting that this one component is going to make you happy. You have to get happy first. You have to feel confident first. You have to be independent first. Instead of perhaps, right, expecting that you'll be able to leech this, even if it's just energetically, off of another person, okay? I also see here, right, this idea that the way that you view yourself, if you change something about yourself with the Page of Swords, perhaps based off of these images that you see online, okay? You're shackled to the way things look on the outside. You're shackled, there's something surface level here, and you're being asked to dive a lot deeper. I think a part of the reason that you're shackled to this is to avoid judgment, with judgment here in reverse. Perhaps you feel like you wouldn't be loved in the state that you are in right now, okay? That you wouldn't be appreciated in that state. I think too, for some of you, you might be lying about the life that you're living, or about who you are, or about how you truly feel about yourself, perhaps online, right? Especially for those of you that are like online dating or something. There could be a sense here that you may be presenting yourself in a way to avoid judgment that is almost like funny money. I'm getting funny money, fake wealth, in order to attract people, because you feel that this is what people want from you. Okay, at a minimum though, this is saying that when we sever, when we disconnect from our toxic attachment to this digital world, okay, the judgment that we cast on ourselves dissipates. The judgment that we feel society casts on us dissipates. And we're able to kind of come back into our younger self, before all of the noise of this is who you need to be, this is what you need to look like, right? These are the proportions that your body has to be. These are the kind of bags that you have to have, the kind of shoes that you need to own, right? Once we release ourselves from that, we realize where it was that we were judging ourselves in ways that didn't matter, and where it was that we were severing with our own resources in order to prop that idea up. An idea that still leaves us pensive, that still leaves us empty. Because that's all we have, is this thing that we're chasing to look like we have it under control. To look like we're confident. To look like we feel beautiful, right? And this is all we have at the end of the day, okay? This is saying that once we release this judgment, once we detoxify ourselves, right? Once we detox, perhaps from Instagram or from the internet or from people that we know, you're all about the look, you're all about the aesthetic, you're all about, right, where's the substance? How is this actually feeding my soul on a deeper level that isn't on the surface? That's when we come back into our own power. That's when we come back into our own self-confidence, right? All of a sudden, we start to see the flaws, we start to see the cracks in other people's thinking, okay? And we refocus. And when we do that, we realize, wait, I already have a lot of worth. I already have a lot of worth that I wasn't giving myself credit for. And for some of you, I can start saving now. I can start getting my finances in order, okay? Because I want to fall in love with my own life. I want to make love to my own life. And not depend, codependency, right? Not depend like a child on somebody else to do that for me. I see money here. I see self-confidence here, okay? And I see overall this idea of coming into power. We need to put a death to these things. I did this purge, right? What I'm calling a purge. Where for 3 months I just stayed off the internet for the most part, right? I popped up every now and again, and I gotta tell you, like, it feels pretty damn good. Even hearing about that Chloe thing made me angry, not because I have any personal opinion on it, but because I hate that I even had to know. It's that annoying, right? Once you disconnect from the world, certain things you just realize how little they matter. And I feel like you could step into that energy of really refocusing on the things that matter to you. If you're willing to sever and to walk away, okay? Sneak out in the middle of the night if you have to, for your own well-being here, okay? For some of you, this is actual movement. Like, you need to move out. You need to move out of a home that you share with somebody else where you're just there because you don't want to pay your own bills, right? Or you're afraid, right? Like, I've never lived on my own before. It is scary. I totally understand that, right? It is scary to kind of step out on your own, and especially in a society that has such a strong view of what failure and success is. I would imagine that even living in a studio apartment, right? If that is your own, if that is something that you worked for, you should be proud of that. You may not be the 20-year-old influencer that gets to move into a mansion in Calabasas. That's okay. Why define success that way, right? In this case, success is any time that you're doing something for yourself, where you're standing up on your own 2 feet, no matter how big or small the world, society, or anybody else might think that is. The fact that you've taken the initiative, right? That you've summoned your courage. And you've left this feeling of fear. You've left this feeling of self-sabotage because you're afraid to go out into the world. You should be proud of that. This is what this is saying. Even if you have to start out small, okay? For others of you, I definitely feel like there's this void where you feel like somebody else, a partner, is going to make your life turn it from black and white to full color. And you have to do that for yourself. You have to fight for your own happiness. And it's that happiness, right? It is that happiness, you fighting for yourself, that's going to attract this wish, that's going to attract this twin. But until you start doing that, you're going to keep delaying this, okay? It's time to, I'm getting like, it's time to get to work. It's time to get real. It's interesting that came up because I almost get like, you have to let go of the fantasy if you insist on just fantasizing about it. At some point in your life, you have to poop or get off the pot. And if you're not going to do that, then perhaps it's time to let that fantasy go. Because maybe you don't want it as much as you thought you did. That fairy tale go. In other words, less dreaming, more doing, right? Take the first step towards doing something in order to achieve this ascended version of you, this independent, confident version of you. Very, very interesting. As I mentioned, right, for the third video in the series, we're going to be focusing on the Page of Pentacles. I feel like some of this will carry some of the same themes of this, but I also get a heavier energy here about fear, about the ways that we hold ourselves back. So we will jump into this in the future, okay? In the next video. I'll try not to take so long to make the third one. I'm very curious to get your thoughts on this. How does this resonate with you, okay? Do you feel like there's times in your life where you're not focused on fighting for your own life and hoping that somebody else will come in and fix it for you? I know it's a bit of a heavier topic, but that's the point of this series, right? To do this actual work to get us to a place where we're vibrating at our absolute best. All right. I thank you so much for watching. I'll have another video up pretty soon here. I'm working on that today. So I hope that I see you there. Please consider subscribing and liking the video if you haven't already. And I hope to see you in the next video. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.